Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. Euzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbena heb lena min ezvacina ve zürriyatina kurrate a'yunin vec'alna lil muttaqina imama. Rabbi şrah li sadri ve yessir li emri vahlul ukdeten min lisani yefkahu kavli. وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِنْ أَهْلِي هَارُونَ أَخِي اشْدُدْ بِهِ أَزْرِي وَأَشْرِكْهُ فِي أَمْرِي كَيْ نُسَبِّحَكَ كَثِيرًا وَنَذْكُرَكَ كَثِيرًا إِنَّكَ كُنْتَ بِنَا بَصِيرًا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. We have been studying the fourth rays from the rays collections, and we are now going to study the fifth chapter of the 29th flash, which is related to the same subject again on the degree of for us God's vices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. So at this point, the author says it consists of 5 points. Now, the first point, this phrase is well-tried remedy for the sickness of human impotence. Now, the human impotence is attracting my attention. Well-tried remedy for the sickness of human impotence. Is it really a sickness? Does it really need a remedy? We will talk about it. And human impotence and poverty on the same line again. For us, God's vices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. What I understand from this Quranic verse, why I am expected to say, or the Quran states that for us, God suffices. He is the best disposer of affairs. It means he is the best remedy for the sickness of my impotence and my poverty. When I realize that this universe has an owner, and this owner is the creator, and the creator is the one who takes care of everything, arranged everything in a perfect order, that is a sign that he knows what he is doing, and everything is so perfectly arranged in order to fulfill their purposes. It means this creator is giving existence to everything with the utmost wisdom. So my weakness, my poverty must have a wisdom in it. I have to think about it. Why am I given existence by a one who demonstrates that he can create huge universe that even human mind, human imagination cannot comprehend? So perfect creation. Since he is so powerful, why he must have he has created me with utter impotence and poverty. One may say, we are not really utterly impotent and utterly poor, but we are. It seems to be. Impotence means I cannot guarantee anything. I cannot create anything. Only if only my needs are provided, I can get them. I cannot create a tomato. I cannot create life. I cannot create any of my cells of my body. I cannot create any of my feelings, and I cannot satisfy any of my feelings, because as soon as I realize that I need something, I have to look for it in the creation, in the universe, in order to get the answer to my satisfaction. I have to search for it. But if it is not provided, I cannot create. That is the heart of impotence. And poor, I don't have anything. Everything is given to me. So in this case, I have to understand that the creator of the universe, that I must come to know him in order to understand that he is the one who is taking care of all my needs. He is the one who is providing everything for me. He is the one who is omnipotent. He is the one who is infinitely rich, not poor. Everything is possible for him. When I realize this, that's what the Quran presents to me. When I realize this, I have to trust in him. He has created me in this way. He is asking me to acknowledge him and present my needs to him. That's why I have to really understand this verse of the Quran and satisfy my needs. Now, we can continue reading and studying the following paragraphs, but I would like to ask somebody to read and really moderate the class. I think there is someone who can do it, would like to do it. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I can read. Thank you for that introduction. So I was listening to you. I was thinking. So about the verse Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. For us, God suffices, and He is the best disposer of affairs. It's interesting. Like Nursi calls it a sickness of human impotence, and poverty. Like it's. Like, I guess the thing is, I don't think, like I today or people today in general think about this being like thinking about one's relationship with their creator. First of all, to establish, the necessity, and then to have this sort of relationship in which one sees or concludes that God suffices and He's the best disposer of affairs only through sickness, the sickness of human impotence and poverty, which is what I find interesting, is because in the modern age, it's as if people want to eliminate this sort of what they perceive to be human impotence and poverty, and the way that sort of manifests is finding ways to control the environment, to control the human body, to extend life, to prolong life, to even think about, at least with modern technology, which, people 100 years ago never have imagined downloading, quote unquote, downloading someone's consciousness into technology. Not possible, but, and trying to sort of avoid these questions and this illness that plagues man, that, like, I cannot provide for myself. I have all of these things that I'm in need of, and where did I even get these sort of feelings and needs from? That's another question as well. And then I can't even fulfill them. That's very interesting, and I don't have the power or the ability to do so. um, which sort of drives home the point: what is the reason or point of existence for this illness, for this sickness? Is it just to simply find a cure within this world? No, which is not possible, but um, because no matter what I try to find in this world, it's not satisfactory, because I don't want things on a temporary basis. I don't want comfort on a temporary basis, satisfaction on a temporary basis, life on a temporary basis. But that's what modern civilization is trying to find. Um, and the verse really sums up, the 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 this sort of, where this sickness leads to, uh, because the sickness comes from, in a sense, this disconnect between myself and my creator. It persists. If I don't find that cure, then depression is going to, just persist and take over, and which sort of is the case nowadays, especially today with all the quote unquote comforts of modern life, and yet depression is the highest and suicide is the highest. And um, hopelessness is, on the levels of which is like unknown before. So I find the way in which he phrases this, or frames this, very interesting. Um, so that's what I took away, at least from this first, while you were reading, or sharing your thoughts. I don't know if anybody else had that any thoughts on that as well. Otherwise, I can continue. Okay. Um, so then he goes on to say, the giver of existence is eternally existent. There is no harm, therefore, in the passing of beings, for the things that are loved continue to exist, that the continuance of the one who gave them existence, the necessary existent. I guess this ties into a discussion from earlier today about, resurrection, the hereafter. Um, be, again, it's interesting. Um, if I conclude that he suffices and he's the best disposer of affairs, then therefore I don't see the passing of beings as being harmful. Um, because if I exist with, sort of all of these needs, and most importantly, the need to eternally be, to eternally exist, and not only eternally exist, but eternally exist in which my impotence and poverty is sort of addressed and taken care of. Um, Human satisfaction, contentment, happiness. Then my needs are met. Let's say the need to, um, feel or love or think or be. Um, all of these things, provided for. Um, if he must be eternally existent, the one who gave me these eternal needs, then really what harm is there in death, so to speak? Um, if that death means there's must be a continuance of existence, because if he must be eternally existent and my needs therefore look to eternity, then how can I cease to be? That's impossible. It would be a contradiction in the very essence of him giving existence. That's why, I guess, from the perspective of this verse and therefore the Quran, there is no, I guess no worry or no sort of uncertainty about where am I going and what is to become of me. Because I had no responsibility in who I am and what I am in need of. That has been determined for me, and by one who must be eternally existent and eternally and absolutely knowledgeable and wise. So he knows the best of how to dispose of my affairs. Whether one dies tomorrow or today, tomorrow, or 100 years from now, he knew why he brought me into existence and when he's going to take me out of this existence, and knows how I feel and what I need. And really, he's the only one that can address them. So I find how he's connecting resurrection or eternity, eternal existence, to this verse. Does anybody have thoughts on that too, before I keep going? Okay. Then he goes on to say, he is the enduring maker and creator. The passing of creatures causes no sorrow, then, for the means of love for them. Their maker is enduring. So I'm going to read that again. He is the enduring maker and creator. The passing of creatures causes no sorrow, then, for the means of love for them, their maker is enduring. It's almost as if he's saying here that because the creator must be enduring, the reason for their existence, or for example, my existence, or anyone else's existence, or anything else's existence in the entirety of, the heavens and the earth, is out of love, because there's sort of a preference that I exist. There's a preferential will behind my existence rather than not existing. And in my existence, I'm taken back to my creator, this enduring maker and creator. So even if my existence ceases to be in this world, because my maker is enduring, how can then I cease to be as well? Because he was out of his, I guess, love or mercy and compassion I exist. And out of mercy and compassion, I'm taken out of this existence. There's nothing I did necessarily to deserve it, but I was given it. And I was also given, going back to the first line, I'm also provided things that I'm in need of that I too couldn't take care of myself anyway. So in other words, I'm being served. And I guess the next line also talks about death. He is the eternal King and Lord. So there are no regrets on the passing of his dominions, on their departing and being renewed. Again, the passing of his dominions. I guess from season to season, we see life come into existence in the spring and pass in the winter. I kind of find interesting, in winter, you don't see as many sort of, let's say, like insects or bugs or creatures, but then suddenly out of the blue, like in the spring and summer, they come into being, and they pass away again. The cycle continues on and on and on, and there's a constant renewal. That's like the most obvious, and obviously, as we talk about from moment to moment, the same thing, but on a longer time scale, the seasons, um, or even let's say the centuries, civilizations fall and rise. Uh, things are never sort of, things are always leaving, but things are always coming in to existence. So, like as if to say that this eternal King and Lord is always exercising his power and will over his dominion. In other words, he is sort of a eternal creator. He's eternally creating, whether this life or another life. There is a constant act of creation, um, and how can one sort of have any regrets towards that? Because that essentially means that I too belong to his constant act of creation, um, and therefore I cannot necessarily cease to be. Maybe in a different form, but not essentially cease to be. Um, and then he goes on to say,
And I cannot raise my hand.
"Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry."
Being a host doesn't allow me to raise my hand because I'm the host. I can interfere anytime, but I don't like it. Okay, you are the moderator. Okay. Now, what I understand from this reasoning, the author is introducing to us. It's very interesting. He is all the paragraphs, the following paragraphs going on the same logical sequence. I understand that if I have any problem in my humanity or human senses, it is my duty to understand who my owner is, who has given me all these feelings, all these qualities, human qualities. So if I can make sure that the one who created the universe and put me in the universe and decorated my creation with consciousness, awareness, and different, maybe endless feelings, I have to utilize all this and try to understand who the owner of these feelings is. Accordingly, I have to be under the pressure of all these positive or negative feelings, happy or unhappy feelings. For example, the first paragraph, which is highlighted here, if I understand that the maker, the creator of this universe, maker or the creator of me, my creator, is an enduring one, eternal one. His existence is eternal. He eternally exists. Then passing of creatures should not cause me any sorrow at all. Why the passing of creatures causes me sorrow? Because I love them to exist. I love them to stay. For example, if I see that in my garden or anywhere really, if I see that any beautiful plant or animal is dead, a sorrow, the feeling of sorrow invades my inner self. I feel very sorrow. this demonstrates that I don't want them to disappear from existence. Of course, consequently, I understand that I don't want to lose my existence, my life, and my enjoyment of life also disappear. I don't want it to disappear. This is an invitation from the one who gave this feeling to me. Try to solve this problem because it is a problem for you. When you try to solve this problem, you will end up with only one solution, which is who gave this sense to you, who is giving life, making every living being love life and enjoyment of life, and also taking it away from us. What is he trying to say? Try to understand who is doing it and what he really means by doing this. If I go through the process of searching who is doing it, I would definitely understand that the one who created the universe, the one who created my feelings, are doing this to me. It is an invitation from him inviting me to acknowledge who this creator is, so that I will understand who is this creator, the one who is continuously creating the universe in an enormously perfect fashion. He's eternal. Everything is transient. He keeps creating. It means he is eternal. And then I have to trust or direct my need to him and see that, look, the one who gave me this sense of sorrow, the sense of regret, and the continuing paragraphs will emphasize on different senses. All these senses are created to me just to give me the opportunity to acknowledge that he is the eternal creator. As long as he exists, why bother? Because he is the one who gave me my life. He is the one who gave me my love for living, for life. That is, he is the one who makes me feel sorrow for the transience, passing away of the all other beings, including myself. That is an invitation to acknowledge his eternity. If I acknowledge his eternity, all the sorrows finds their remedy. All the problems find their remedy. So it is a kind invitation to get to know him and not to trust myself, because I'm not transient. Although my senses say I don't like transient things, I don't like losing my existence, losing my life, but I cannot really make them stay permanently with me. I am totally impotent. So it is a beautiful invitation. I understood. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's seeing sort of the meaningful aspect behind what's happening within me and out there in the world. Otherwise, there's really no other way to make sense of it. Everybody has there are many sort of innumerable philosophies and ideologies, but none actually get to the heart of the matter. What is the point? Like what is the meaning behind? And as he brings up here, passing or death and passing his dominions. Like if you think about it, it doesn't. otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Like, what is it? What does it mean for something that I value? Let's say another individual, and they die, and I feel sad about it or upset. Like, it doesn't. Like, where does that even come from, or why do I even feel that way? And how do I make sense of it? Um, there's something so powerful there, and yet many people just try to write it off. But how, let's say, these creatures pass away from season to season, um, like something like happening out there, and it doesn't have to be that way, but it is, and it elicits some feeling within me. What is that? What is the point of any of that, or what does it all mean? Um, and as he points out here, really the heart of the matter is, um, as you said, that invitation, and that invitation is summed up in the verse, or the message, or what, for us God suffices and needs the best disposer of affairs. Um, sort of, as we all say, signpost to him. Then, as he goes on to say, he is the eternal, all-knowing witness. I think H. Beza, you have a. I don't know if you meant to say something.
Did I? I mean, I did have a comment. I don't think I raised my hand. But...
Oh, there was just my face there.
Oh, sorry, it was by accident. Whoops. Since I do have the microphone, I guess I'll share my comment anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about how, in the beginning, the author, in a way, he takes us through this kind of like these two main essential steps through the verse, for us God suffices and he is the best disposer of affairs. And in the beginning, where he says, for the things that are loved continue to exist through the continuance of the one who gave them existence to necessarily existent. So in a way, it's severing that pseudo connection that I might associate with the with existence, with existing and material existence, for example, that one does not necessarily have to have a physical form, quote unquote, to necessarily continue to exist. So in one respect, this makes me question and saves me from being at the doorstep or begging at material causes or science or chance or Mother Nature or my boss or another person that I'm in a relationship with that I might want something from. So it saves me from one respect. It cleanses, or if I think about the human spirit as being diseased, right? Like, let's say there's a shard in my heart or something. It removes that. The first step is removing that which is causing me some sort of the demise of my spirit in some respect, or further the demolishment of my spirit in one respect. But then it doesn't stop there. And then in severing that false connection, it then offers the remedy, because I do find that I am in a situation where my spirit has infinite capacity to love and attach itself, or to want the happiness of others, and to care about bugs and other things that are not limited to myself, but it's all encompassing. So then, and I guess at the most center, it's love of existence, love of continual existence for myself, and then kind of going out from there. And then it through these different short sentences or paragraphs, it then remedies the situation by virtue of witnessing and concluding that the source must be an absolute one, with an absolute dominion and sovereignty and will and control and power all of my affairs. And in doing so in a most compassionate manner, so that when I do experience the passing away of whatever it is, literally anything and everything, then I'm not filled with unbearable sorrow or grief or hopelessness, nor do I find myself begging at the foot of these things either. So it, in a way, it removes that which is unnatural to me from me. And then before I catch another infection, it cleanses and it tends to that the sickness or the area of the wound, so that I may then begin to heal.
Yeah, it's interesting that you gave that your examples, especially like the boss example. I guess very practical for a lot of people, in that so people always have some sort of dissatisfaction sometimes in their life. There's a certain expectation, and that expectation obviously is perfection if really one thinks about it. And that expectation is never met within this world. The expectation of eternity, the expectation of continual life, the expectation of things persisting, things that I value or love or hold dear, and that never happens. But as you said, the only remedy is, as he goes through, is to see this sort of as an invitation from the giver of existence, who is eternally existent, the enduring maker and creator, the eternal king and lord. And as he goes on and on and on, enduring all-knowing witness, enduring owner and creator. Because it's only in the relationship with that one that one is that remedy is given, that illness is cured, the sickness of human impotence and poverty is addressed. And by and large, most people don't, we don't try to do that. Try to find solutions elsewhere in the world, from other impotent and impoverished beings. We try to find some solution, and that's impossible. So, if no other comments, I was going to keep reading. Okay. So he is the eternal all-knowing witness. No grief is felt, therefore, at the disappearance from this world of things that are loved, for they have perpetual existence in the knowledge of their pre-eternal witness, and in his view. So he is the eternal all-knowing witness. No grief is felt, therefore, at the disappearance from this world of things that are loved. So for things that are loved to exist, and things that therefore I love as well. For they have perpetual existence in the knowledge of that pre-eternal witness, and in his view. In other words, all things belong to an absolutely knowledgeable one. They're always within his view, in his sight. They're never forgotten. So how can there be any grief at their passing from this world? So, or I guess disappearance from this world. So it's in their disappearance that I know that they belong to him, and that that he knows them eternally. It's only through their disappearance that happens. Interesting. He is the enduring owner and creator. There is no pain, therefore, at the passing of beautiful things, for the source of their beauty, their creator's names are enduring. So again, there's no pain at things that I value or love, that I find beautiful, because, as he says, they're only beautiful. In other words, like, you know, one of my favorite lines from one of Nursi's writing is that, I think it was, the flower is not beautiful; it is made beautiful. And it's very short, but it expresses a lot there, because it's not attributing beauty to, let's say, the thing itself, but to who the artist is, or to his most beautiful names, the one who bestows it form, shape, color, smell, and perpetually renews it from season to season. In other words, not attaching myself to the thing I value, that I find beautiful, but using it as a means, or again, invitation to him and his names, his most beautiful names, his enduring names, his names that must have an eternal manifestation. So beauty must have an eternal manifestation. Life must, I find beautiful, I must have an eternal manifestation. Existence, just existence itself, that I find beautiful, must have an eternal manifestation. Mercy, that I find beautiful, must have an eternal manifestation. Any name that I can think of, form, and obviously this world cannot be the place of eternal manifestation, but it's the means to know that I want those things. And their passing of things really reminds me that's what I really want, and what things are looking towards. So to continue, he is the enduring inheritor and raiser to life. There should be no lamenting on being parted from beloveds, for the one who will resurrect them and return them to himself is enduring. So again, I continue in sort of the same concept. You know, the enduring inheritor and raiser to life, in that all things belong to him. And in a sense, he's always raising things to life in this world that I'm in. Anytime something is given existence, that's essentially their life, whether it doesn't matter if it's a rock or a tree or a human being or an animal, they all have a certain life. Some more obvious than others, or more, let's say, more focused or more apparent than others, but everything has a life of their own. And I shouldn't lament, because even if I love those things, they're always returning to him, because they're, as he says before, they're always in his view. They're all manifestations of his eternal names. And therefore, he is the only one who can and will resurrect them, because that's what I want. That's what my needs look to. My needs look to eternity, which is essentially resurrection. Because they belong to him, that means they must be resurrected. They must have an enduring reality, because he himself is enduring, or eternal, or everlasting. So he's the ever living, he gives life, and therefore he is the ever living one. He is the eternally all beauteous and glorious. There should be no distress, therefore, at the disappearance of beautiful things, for those beautiful things are the mirrors of the beautiful names, which endured together with their beauties after the disappearance of the mirrors. So again, as he says, all beauteous and glorious, but eternally all beauteous and glorious. As he mentions before, again, now, all things are just manifestations of his names. Everything in existence is just reflecting the names or qualities of the artist. And those qualities must be beautiful because they have an enduring nature to them. They belong to an eternally all beauteous and glorious one. And because the art belongs to that artist, then their beauties have an eternal manifestation, even after things disappear from this world, even if the mirror of the physical world disappears. For example, even after somebody dies, or the seasons pass, or things that I valued go away, because everything's transient. They're just mirrors, and when those mirrors are gone, I know that whatever names that they manifested or that they reflected, they have an eternal reality. And again, that's what I'm most concerned about, really. And that's what these things remind me of in their disappearance. So to not get fixated on the disappearance in and of itself, but to see where it takes me to, what it reminds me of. He is the eternal true object of love and worship. So no sorrow should be felt on the passing of metaphorical beloveds, for the true beloved is eternal. So again, turning, he has a whole section. I think maybe it was read this previously. Can't remember if it was the flashes or, but not getting fixated on things themselves, which are temporary or metaphorical beloveds, because there's no denial that I love those qualities that things manifest, let's say mercy or beauty or compassion or wisdom or knowledge, whether in the form of other human beings or other creatures. But in their passing, I realized I'm not so much as concerned about the thing itself, but the qualities in which they reflect, and that is what I'm in need of. And in other words, turning my view or my vision or my sight to the true object of love and worship. In other words, my worship is my recognition of him and my asking of him or looking towards him or seeking his names, the eternal manifestation of his names. And that's the only appropriate response, because he's eternal. The true beloved is eternal. Is temporary love, is that true love, or is that metaphorical? As he says, metaphorical. Or it's not the real thing that I want. He is.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just a few words about the metaphorical beloved. Why metaphorical beloved? Because our feelings attached to something beautiful or attracted to us, and we love it. That's the feelings are directed to whatever we like, we love. So there will be a relationship between me and the object that I like. This is the way of my love relationship is taking place. But this love is not or should not be for the object itself, but the quality of the object and the source of this quality, the quality of art in this object, whatever I love it. For example, do I love atoms, or do I love particles? Yeah, they exist, they are okay. But I love the peach, for example, or pear, for example. Now, let's speak about the peach. What do I love about the peach? The qualities manifested in the combination of the atoms. So like for example, a framed picture. or framed painting. I don't love the paint itself. I love the art in it. So when I say I love this painting, it is a metaphorical love for the painting. The real love is the quality of art manifested in this painting. Although this quality of art is not physical at all, it's not a physical object. But art is, it means the quality of artistry is manifested in the painting. That is why my attachment to the painting should be metaphorical, not really true, beloved, that I love the matter. But true, beloved one, is the artistry, the art manifested in this. That is exactly when I say I love the peach, in fact, I love the source of the qualities manifested in the peach. So this quality is owned by someone, some conscious being who manifested his qualities on the material form of the peach. I say, I love peach, I love the peach, but in fact, my attachment to the peach itself is metaphorical, not true. True attachment of love is the qualities, therefore, the owner of the quality I have to realize. If the owner of the quality is an eternal one, when I eat the peach, peach disappears. But the owner of the quality is eternal. So the artist, if you like, transferring the metaphor to the real object of love now, the eternal artist who is the creator, as long as he is eternal, when I eat the peach, peach disappears. But I should not have any sorrow at all at the disappearance of the peach, because my love was not for the peach. My love was for the qualities manifested in the peach. If I keep this relationship correctly, I think I can manage with all sorts of sorrows and pains of my experience of this world disappears if only I acknowledge the eternity of the creator of this universe. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the only solution, and there isn't nothing I can think of, and nothing humanity's ever conceived of that can solve that conundrum or that problem, that sickness. Others, I don't know if there's much more to say after that. And then, I guess if there are other comments, the next line he says, "He is eternally merciful, compassionate, loving, and clement." So the passing of the apparent bestowers of bounties and compassion has no importance. It should not cause sorrow or despair. For the one whose mercy and compassion encompass all things is enduring. Just to read that again. He is eternally merciful, compassionate, loving, and clement. So the passing of the apparent bestowers of bounties and compassion has no importance. It should not cause sorrow or despair, for the one whose mercy and compassion encompass all things is enduring. So in other words, while I love the compassion that's displayed in this world, or the bounties, for example, let's say in food, they themselves are not the source of those things. They are only a manifestation of one who must be merciful, compassionate, loving, clement, and he is enduring. Because that's what, after I eat, as you brought up the peach, it's gone. It's no longer there. Temporary. And I can eat a million peaches. I might get sick, but that's never going to cure that sickness that I'm looking for, enduring mercy and compassion and love. And as you said, to see the peach rather as looking to its source. And that peach is sort of an invitation, the message. He is eternally beauteous, gracious, and kind. The disappearance of gracious and sympathetic beings, therefore, should neither cause pain nor should importance be given it. Interesting. So the disappearance of gracious and sympathetic beings, therefore, should neither cause pain nor should importance be given it. For the one who takes the place of all of them, and a single of whose manifestations they altogether cannot replace, is enduring. You know, as he's saying here, like, why, if I think about it, why am I sad about the things that pass away when people die or disappear? Really, why is that causing me pain? Or why am I putting such importance on it? Because even if I were to gather all of them together, as far as I could remember or see, none of them can necessarily equal the enduring nature of his names or he himself and his qualities. While they may be beautiful or kind or gracious, they in no way, even all of them together in totality, they cannot replace his beauty or his graciousness or his kindness, because they're just simply manifestations of his qualities, his enduring names. So why am I concerned and why do I give importance to the things themselves in and of themselves when I should see them really as looking towards him? Since he is enduring and possesses these attributes, he takes the place of every sort of transient, ephemeral beloved in this world. For us, God suffices, and he is the best disposer of affairs. Yes, enough for the immortality of this world, and all it contains is the enduring existence of its owner, maker, and creator. So that is the end of the first point. I don't know if I don't really have much else to say. I think we kind of talked about. I don't know if anybody has any closing comments. We're up against time, but okay, all right. So I'll just close with dua. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, we can